Okay, number 4 is a 90-second question. If you were city attorney, what would you do to increase the successful prosecution of gang members? And the order of response is Michael is the first on this. 90 seconds.
Okay, well, I think our gang strategy should consist of 3 parts. You've got intervention, prosecution, and injunctions. And I think we need to use the injunctions that have been going in place throughout the city. And wherever I go, to areas that are besieged by gang violence that don't have injunctions, residents come up to me and they're practically begging for injunctions to be put in place. Use the injunctions to divert lower risk youth away from the gangs and into alternative programs, so that way the criminal justice system doesn't have to spend their lifetimes dealing with them. For those that are already hardened to the gang life, that just refuse to find a way out or use the alternatives available to them, the simple matter is we need to prosecute the heck out of them. And to the fullest extent of the law, we need to use every tool at our disposal, be it through gang enhancements to certain crimes, but absolutely need to be aggressive and give no quarter on that.
David.
Thank you. Yeah, prevention is better than cure, of course. If we can find ways to stop kids getting into the gangster lifestyle, so much the better. Now, I can speak to that with some experience. I have prosecuted gangs, and I've prosecuted gangs very successfully. From 2002 to 2004, I was assigned to the city of Lancaster, where my ambit was to tackle gang crime, and I did so very effectively. In fact, I'll blow my own trumpet. This is a U.S. Congressional Award I received for being Crime Buster of the Year. And here are some other ones from the county of LA, from the city of Lancaster, from Palmdale. Because of what I did, I stood up, okay, to people who said you can't do this because it's going to offend certain groups of people if you get tough on crime. And I said, I don't care. My duty is to the majority of innocent people who are being terrorized by these people. You've all seen the growth of graffiti, haven't you, around here? Even our street signs out here, they're now marking their territory. Okay, they've got to be stopped. Let's do something about prevention in terms of getting kids before they get into gangs. But believe me, once they're in gangs, you have to go after them hard. And I'm the only one who's done that. And as city attorney, I can work with the DA's office to be much more effective. I can work with my fellow DAs who prosecute the gangs at the felony level and make sure we get the right result, because we can't go to sleep on this one. This is a serious problem affecting us. The use of injunctions is a great tool as well, and I'll continue to do what's being done currently. Thank you. My time is up.
Nooch, please.
I don't want to take issue with David, but I was assigned to the hardcore gang unit of the district attorney's office. I've tried death penalty cases. I have a man on death row right now. I just testified in federal court in a deposition on his, God bless this guy. 20 years later, he's still on death row and hasn't been put to death. He probably killed 29 people. I'm the only one in this room that's been shot at. I'm the only one in this room that has personal protection. When the cops were sitting in front of my house in the morning because he put a hit on me during the course of the penalty phase of that trial. The case is People versus Barry Glenn Williams. It went up to the Supreme Court and was sent back by Rose Bird, and I tried it. It took about 8 months to try that case. That being said, I know gangs. This is gangs. In the paper today, this guy was sentenced to death yesterday, and he's smiling. Okay? When it comes to gang members, there's no tolerance. End of story. I know that issue. I know it better than anyone. Ask Jim Bell, who pulled me down in Green Bundles Park, how well I know gangs. Jim Bell was my investigator in a hardcore gang unit. Steve Cooley endorses me. Steve Cooley knows that I am a hardcore prosecutor in that regard. I've made my bones there. In terms of gangs, we got to be smart about gangs. When you got to walk a case across the street, gang members don't deserve misdemeanors. Gang members deserve felonies. And so when you got a gang member, we got to do a lot of things in terms of this. It's more than a 90-second answer. This is a hard problem that needs smart people to address it, and we need to change laws to make sure that these gang members don't get away with it. The proliferation of gang has got to start not only at the gang member, but it's got to go back to his family, and they got to be able to lose assets. I got to applaud Rocky for what he did in going after the assets of that gang member. Now we got to expand that law.
In terms of going after the gangs, people have to understand as well, the city attorney prosecutes misdemeanors. So what I applaud the other candidates with regard to the fact that we need to obviously go after the gangs, cooperate not only with other city attorneys of other jurisdictions, but obviously the DA. And in terms of David's qualifications, if I'm elected city attorney, I think he should be the courtroom guy that basically goes in there and prosecutes the heck out of him. City attorney is obviously a managerial position. Bottom line is you bring in the best criminal prosecutors you can find, and then you begin to be creative. For example, I haven't heard anything about the use of the RICO statute. I haven't heard anything about the use of solid cooperation with the U.S. Attorney's Office as far as money laundering is concerned. A lot of these gangs, it's documented, come from they're foreign terrorist organizations. They come from El Salvador. They bring the people in here. The intent is to try to basically subvert our culture, our way of life. This is a situation that has to be identified. We need the help of the federal government to identify these people as foreign terrorist organizations. And in terms of the kids on the cusp, I've been a member of the Watts Gang Task Force now for the last 2.5 years. They have, as we all know, they have problems in Watts, but the task force has done great strides. City Attorney's Office in particular, what I would do is, we need to educate these parents. Today, ladies and gentlemen, you have kids having kids. Rightly or wrongly, it is what it is. It's a breeding ground. You need to educate the parents. You need to educate the kids. You need to have better truancy programs. You need to adopt these middle schools where it festers and begin to demonstrate and show that the people can successfully intervene. Thank you.